This show was created to educate and inspire our viewers to become better versions of themselves.
All right, you're watching the Power Hour. I'm your host, DJ Lary Jones, and today we will be discussing how to unlock your full potential and the power of positive thinking. Here to help me talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, is Miss Andrea Rice. How are you?
I am great, Larry. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful to be here today.
Absolutely. You know what? It's a pleasure having you on the show today. I want to jump right into it.
Okay.
What does unlocking your full potential mean?
Oh, I guess for me, what it means is going from a place where you feel stuck and maybe you have a lot of fear and lack in your life to a place where you're living your best life, where you are full of joy and love and abundance. And when you unlock that, your whole world changes. You'll really see the magic of the world and the
Mm.
universe. And it's all about having the right tools to do that, right? Because we can all feel stuck and fearful.
How can people identify their hidden potential? Some people go their whole lifetime without knowing what it is, knowing their purpose in life. You know what I mean? So how could someone figure out what their purpose is in life, and lock into it?
Okay, that's a great question. And let me tell you about my experience, how I unlocked my full potential. And it was probably 3 years ago. I was at the lowest point in my life.
Mm.
And I felt, to say I felt stuck and fearful would be an understatement. My marriage of 23 years had come to an end. I didn't know how to get to the next day, the next week. And then fast forward 3 years, and I'm living my most amazing, abundant, joyful life.
Right.
And for me, what really was the start to unlocking all of that was probably the biggest tool in my toolkit and the one that helped me the most, the one that was there from the beginning and the one that I use every day is meditation. And I believe that once you can really quiet your mind, that's when you start to see where you're supposed to be headed. Your inner guide will kind of lead you to what your joy is. And once you can get quiet, that's when you can start to figure out how to unlock your full potential.
Right. And I totally agree with meditation. Yeah, you can tap into a lot while meditating. People really don't understand the power of the mind. So meditation is definitely important. It does so much, uh, not only for your mental health but physically as well. It can lower your blood pressure. It can do a lot for you, and it can manifest a few things as well. So yeah, I definitely agree. Now, what are the key factors that normally hold us back from reaching that potential? I mean, we have so many distractions in life. Um, what are some of the key factors that may hold us back in life?
Well, I think one of the factors that holds us back is not living in the present moment. I always say that fear and anxiety can not touch you in the present. That's kind of like the superpower of living in the present moment. Because
Right.
if when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling fearful, it's because your mind is either replaying the past or is playing out unknown scenarios of the future. So if you can really harness and tune into being present. I'm going to be fully present while I talk to you today. I'm going to be fully present while I wash my dishes later. If you can be fully present in those moments, that's really a form of meditation as well, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
present and stopping the mind from going in those directions that lead to fear and anxiety.
Right. I want to talk about self doubt. A lot of people, doubt themselves in so many ways. How could someone overcome that self doubt and fear,
Mm.
in, in order to reach their full potential?
That's a good question. I think the way you start to overcome self doubt, we've all been there, we all feel it, is to set yourself up for success, right? Take little challenges and achieve those goals. Set small goals for yourself, things that are really achievable. And once you see what you're really capable of, you will start to strive to achieve bigger and bigger things, and the self-doubt will kind of just go away. And maybe not completely, but you will learn how to overcome it.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, in your opinion, what is the best way? What is some of the best ways to nurture and develop your potential? Because it starts small. It's small, like you said. It's just baby steps. So in your opinion, what are some ways we can do that?
I think the best way you can do that is to be joyful. Find things that lead to joy. And it could be something as simple as, listening to your favorite song. Whatever can get you to a place of joy, that's where you start.
Right. And would you say discipline, self-discipline, plays a role in? Because to me, I would feel so. With anything you're trying to achieve and stick with in life, requires some sort of discipline. How do you feel about that?
100%. Yes, you do need some self-discipline. For example, when your mind starts to wander to things that are not beneficial for you, that cause fear and anxiety, you need to have the self-discipline to recognize it and divert your mind and attention to something else. You need to have the self-discipline to say, hey, I'm going to meditate every day for at least 5 minutes, right? If you have the self-discipline to implement these tools into your life, then that's when your life starts to get better and better. And you see the magic really unfold and see just how good life can get.
Right. And handling now, we know there's going to be some setbacks. So people who's on a road to, unlocking their full potential, there's going to be some setbacks. It's not going to come easy. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to feel like meditation is not working for you because there's so many distractions. Um, how can we deal with the setbacks and failures?
Sure. Well, there's always going to be setbacks, like you
Right.
said. I think if you just, you sit with it for a second and you say, okay, maybe today didn't go as planned. It wasn't as great as it could have been. And just make the effort to tomorrow. I'm going to rededicate myself to implementing these things that I know work.
Right.
These that I know they work. Maybe today wasn't 100% day, but I'm going to hit it again tomorrow. And you'll find that the more you start to unlock your consciousness, the higher you're vibrating, the more you implement the right tools like meditation, gratitude, power of positive thinking, positive affirmations, the more you implement these tools into your life, when you do have those setbacks, you'll recover quicker. Right. So each little setback, you should be able to recover a little bit quicker. So we're all going to have setbacks, but the goal is to recognize it and keep moving forward.
Keep going. All right, let's move on to the power of positive thinking. How does positive thinking help in overcoming challenges and obstacles?
Well, I believe we create our. So if you start to think positive things will show up in your.
Right.
So it's easier to overcome those obstacles if you have a positive mindset. I know for me personally, I start every day with some positive affirmations, and I will speak into the universe the things that I want to go well today or that I want to see happen today. And you'll find that the more positive you are, the more you speak those things into existence, the more they will show up in your life, and in your life will just get better and better.
Right. And that was going to be part of my next question. How do we handle those thoughts that pop into our head every day? As things happen throughout our day, negative thoughts. I mean, should we repeat affirmations in our head?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Repeat positive affirmations in your head. And, when those thoughts pop up, the best thing you can do is recognize that you're having that thought.
Yeah.
And that way you can stop it in its tracks and, maybe just say a positive affirmation or repeat something like, even if you don't know what to say, you can't ever go wrong with saying the word love. Sometimes I just repeat the word love in my head, right?
Right.
And that's a very empowering, joyful thing to think about. And it kind of gets you back on the right track.
Yeah, and it determines your day. It really does determine your day, and in some cases, the outcome of your day. What people don't really realize is that when you think negative all the time, all day, and just have that can actually tap into your physical health.
100%.
Do
Yes.
you know what I mean? It can cause high blood pressure, stress, which leads to other things. So just want to be happy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. So I believe that if you are stressed and anxious, negative, you will have more physical ailments. Like you said, high blood pressure, anxiety. I mean, when you are in a place of positivity, joy, love, you will find that you have way less anxiety in your life. And
Yeah,
I feel like anxiety is probably the number one thing people struggle with right now.
yeah,
In
it is. Yeah, it is. I want to talk about you for a second. How did you get to where you are now in life? Because you seem to have this peace and calm about you that that I love. How did you get to where you are today?
well, I wasn't always like this.
See, I didn't wake up like this, right?
Stuff like this. Um, I I had a personal setback about 3.5 years ago. My marriage of 23 years ended, and I was at the lowest point in my life, and I was living in a state of fear and anxiety, and I felt stuck. I literally could not put one foot in front of the other, and I knew something had to change. And that's when I kind of started out on my journey that got me to where I am today. Is I started, what can I do to feel better? Even if it was just 10% better, what could I do to feel 10% better today or 5% better today? And along the way, I found different things that helped me. I found meditation, I found gratitude, I found Reiki, I found sound healing. There are all these different tools I gathered along the way to fast forward 3 years. And Larry, I am living my best life. I am more
I
joyful,
love it.
and I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. And how good it can get. Um, I'm living proof of it. And so that's kind of where I set out on my mission, is to empower other people with the tools that they could put in their toolkit on
Right.
their journey to get to where I am now, because it is so great on this side, but I know what the other side looks like too, and it's not so great. And we all are on our own different paths. So anyone out there, if you're struggling, I've been there. I've been there. I didn't wake up like this, like Larry said. I had to gain these tools and put them in my toolkit and use them every single day. And if you do that, if you know what the tools are and you implement them, you can get from a place of fear and stuck and lack to joy and abundance and empowerment. And that's what we all want, right? Is to be in that joyful, empowered state. And it's available to everyone. Every one of you out there watching, it's available for you.
Right. Exactly. Now, Reiki, for people who may not know what Reiki is, explain what that is.
Okay, so I am a Reiki master, and I will say 2 years ago, I didn't know what Reiki was. And I stumbled upon it. And at its core, Reiki, if you want to sum it up, it is unconditional love, which is universal unconditional love. And there are different ways to implement Reiki into your life, whether it be a lot of positive thinking. You can do self-healing, either hands-on or remote, and you can heal others. You can not only just emotions, but physical ailments as well. The way I came to know what Reiki was is a friend of mine was a Reiki master, and I'd had hip problems for 15 years. One session, and I've never had hip problems again. It's
Wow.
power. It's using the energy and love of the universe and directing it through yourself and to someone else.
Wow. Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me, Reiki Master Andrea Rice. What do you want to leave people with? What do you want them to know?
I just want everyone to know that there is joy in abundance, and your life can be beautiful. Just if you want to implement the tools, go to howgooditcanget.com. That's my website. There are tools there to help you. And if you don't mind, Larry, I would just like to say this isn't something just for adults. A friend of mine and I have started an Enlightened Children series to kind of bring these concepts to our next generation. So maybe they can grow up feeling empowered instead of like me being in your 40s and trying to figure out what joy and empowerment is now. Like, let's start it from the beginning. So Enlightened Children series is also how on our, let me see, Enlightened Children series, What Color is Your Dragon is the first book in the series, and it's on Enlightened series on Instagram. So check that out.
Right. And you're right. I believe it should start from when they're young.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we had the knowledge now that we had back then? We would be masters of everything, right?
I know, Larry, we would. That's where this Enlightened Children's series came about, because it was like, how great, how much different, how much better would my life have been if I knew at 8 what I know at 40, right?
Right.
So
that would be something. I talk to a friend about that all the time. The stuff that we're studying and learning now, oh my gosh, it would be incredible, the place we would be at right now in life. So I mean, life can be amazing and it can be a nightmare. It just depends which road you decide to go down.
Yeah, that's we create our own reality. So create something amazing for yourself.
There you go. Andrea Rice, thank you so much for joining me right here on the show, the Power Hour on Soul TV.
Thank you, Larry.
The Power Hour is brought to you by Soul TV.